guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing great and having a great New Year's. But guess what? We're not doing New Year's nails because New Year's is about to be over. And I did mention last time that we are gonna jump right into Valentine's nails. And I think that's gonna be fun. And you know why? We're gonna get a head start. So we're gonna start doing all these fun Valentine's nails before people get started, right? And before we get into the video, we are gonna do another giveaway. Oh, I got 4 fingers then. But we are gonna do another giveaway, and this time we are still doing a mystery box giveaway. And to enter the giveaway, it's always the same thing. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment down below. That's how you enter to this giveaway, and it's gonna be a surprise box. So, good luck guys. And for today's videos, we are gonna do some Valentine's nails with some like cute little lips and cherries and little drip nails. I think that would be so cute. It's kind of easy, but not super easy. Anyways guys, check it out.
Hey guys, I am back to recording on my fake hands today, and I'm gonna show you guys how I glue on the nail tips. Right, I bought these regular tips at your local my local supply store, and what I do is I fit it very snugly into the nail tip. into the fingernail, and I just push it all the way up as far as I can go. Make sure it's tight and snug in there, okay? And then now I'm gonna use to trim off a little bit of the tip, and I'm not using the scissors today, but I'm using the nail clipper that's like a flat head across, and just trim on the edges to make sure that the nail tip fits the nail. And I glue it on, and usually me gluing it on is I drop a little bit of glue right down in the center of the nail, and then I go on to press the nail tip directly down, and this way the glue kind of spread across the nail evenly. And then once that is good, we're gonna trim the tips and cut one side first, and then switch over and cut the other side, and then cuticle to cuticles to make sure the length is even, and then trim it to make sure they all match. Once this is done and good, we're gonna go in with our tornado bits from Notpolish as well to blend in the nail tip to the nail plate. And then we're gonna go in and pre-shape the nails, make sure that the nail tip lines up perfectly with the nail tip. And of course, we're gonna prime the nails with the triple X bond primer. And then I'm gonna go in with this nude. This is 153, and of course, this is still one of my favorite nude because it is more of like a brown nude, and I absolutely love this color. This actually is my favorite color to use to I like this color more so to do solid color nude, like when I need like just a plain plain solid color canvas for my nail art. This is my go-to color. I really don't use this color to do ombre too much because it is darker, so when I ombre with the white, it could be a little bit more challenging for the people that is just starting out. So I mean, it's still very easy to do, but it is a little bit more of a challenge than using our classic number 102. So this is the color. Look how beautiful this nude is. And of course, make sure when we're working with acrylic, make sure the fingernail is point downward, okay? And then I'm just lightly gonna tap on the powder and drag it towards the tip of the nails. And as you can see, when I'm doing this, like I'm constantly like twisting and turning the finger at different angle, okay? We don't want to get just stuck at one view, working with the acrylic, because I tend to move around a lot when I'm working or filing or anything like that, except for drawing art. I kind of stay very steady when I'm drawing, but when I'm working with acrylic and I'm shaping or filing, I move the hand around a lot like that. You see how I'm constantly like moving back and forth, side to side. And of course, make sure we flat out the tip of the nails, make sure it's like super straight across like that, so it'll save us a lot of time shaping later as well, okay? And then now you can see that I do spend a lot of time molding my acrylic into the shape that I want, because the acrylic is still wet, so I do spend a lot more time molding it, and it will save me a lot of time filing later. And the second bead, flush it into the cuticles, and I'm just gonna hold it in place for a second. You can see I'm kind of pushing it upwards, and then once it dries a little bit, I'm gonna pull it from mid of the bead, like in the center of the bead, like right here. You see, I'm gonna push it back up because it's kind of runny, and then once that's good, I'm pulling from the middle of the bead. Never drag the product off from the top of the bead all the way down, because you end up taking too much of the products off. So always pull from the center of the bead. So when you place the bead on, kind of pull it right in the middle of the bead, okay? And then make sure, so when the acrylic is still wet, make sure we keep it nice and clean, okay? Because once it's dry, it's gonna be harder for us to work with. So, I mean, if it runs into the cuticles and it already dry up, it'll be a lot harder to work with. I noticed a lot of people, like when they place on the bead and it tends to run a little bit, it's runny, they tend to freak out. And once they start freaking out, they just start like pulling the product off the nail and just keep dragging it off. And what you'd end up doing is actually taking off too much product. You end up dragging off too much, and when it's super runny, it's really hard to control. So when you place the first bead, when the bead is on the nail and you feel like it's still runny, make sure you kind of push it back in place. Just hold it in place, kind of play around with it, kind of mold, keep pushing it upward, okay? Because when it's runny, it's gonna run down, and it's gonna run down pretty fast. And if you freaked out and you pulling it off, because it's running off the nail and you're pulling it off now, so that's like a double. Now the gravity is pulling it down and you're pulling it down, so that means it'll take off too much. Does that make sense? So when it's kind of runny, a little bit too runny, make sure you hold it in place and push it back in place like this. I'm gonna show you. You see how it's kind of runny? I'm gonna push it up a little bit and then push it up. You see that? Push it up, and then you see how I'm just kind of like tap and play around with it, kind of hold it in place, and then I'm gonna pull it when it's set a little bit more. You see? So when working with acrylic, make sure you guys are like trust yourself. Be a little bit more confident with yourself. Don't freak out. I think that's one of my biggest things when I first started doing nail is when I first put on my bead, I'm like, oh shoot, it's too runny, I'm freaking out, and I'm dragging it off. So I end up taking off too much off the nails and making the nails super thin and flat. So that's not the way to do it. And when I put on a bead that's too dry and I'm just being stubborn and thinking that like every bead you pick up, you have to work with it and you can't just waste it. So what I do is, like, even when I pick up the bead that's too dry, I like, in my mind, in my mentality, in my mind, I'm thinking like I still have to use it because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. So when I try to use it, guess what? It's not been down. I'm not even working it down halfway to the nail. I'm not even down halfway to the nail yet. I don't know what I'm saying. It's not even halfway down the nail yet, and the product already dry up. And now I'm gonna spend more time patching it up, and now it's just a big lumpy mess. So what I'm trying to say is, if it's okay if you pick up a bead that's way too runny, you can actually just kind of swipe it off and pick up another bead. Or you pick up a bead that is too dry, get rid of it, pick up another bead. That's why when you first start out doing acrylic, it's very important that you don't have to master it, but you kind of have to understand the liquid to powder ratio. Once you get that down, then it'll become a lot easier. But if you don't get that down, it becomes really hard to work with. So make sure you get your liquid to ratio down. Get a jar of powder and just sit there, kept learning how to pick up a bead. A proper bead, a large, a small, a medium bead. And then just learn how to master that. You gotta learn how to crawl before you can walk, right? So I think that's like the basic of learning anything. You gotta learn from the basic first before. And then again, I do a lot of long nails, but when you first practice it out, try to do it on a little bit of a shorter nail. Once you understand how to control the product more, you can control it on the longer nails. Because if you can't control it on a long nails, it'll be harder to control it on, if you can't control it on the short nails, it'd be really hard to control it on the long nails, right? So practice with short to medium length. Once you guys get it, so start with short nails, and then medium nails, and then long nails. Yeah, so when I first started working at a nail salon, I started out by doing, like, you know, of course, your basic gel manicure, the basic, like, very easy stuff, and then slowly I worked my way up to doing, like, acrylic. But when I first started out doing acrylic, I didn't have the courage to do a full set. I only work on fills, like fills, not even back fills, just like regular fills with clear powder and then like a gel polish on top, because because I didn't know how to do a full set yet, and if I did try to do a full set, it would take me literally like 3 to 4 hours to do a regular full set with gel polish. But we gotta start somewhere, right? And again, and I know since the beginning of this video, I did not go into too much details with explaining how I apply on my products or my shaping or like my hand filing, because I feel like I've done that in every video already. That's how it all started. Like my video all kind of start very similar to each other. So I feel like, you know, I just feel like I should talk to you guys a little bit more, like talk about more of like you know, nail stuff, rather than me just explaining what I'm doing all the time. I mean, of course I will continue to do that, but just cut off a little bit in some videos. Okay, now everything is done and washed. We're gonna go in with a matte top coat, and then this matte top coat is we're gonna apply just a thin layer. The reason why we do a matte top coat first is anytime I'm doing nail art, I do apply on the matte top coat. That way the matte give me like a very smooth surface to draw on. So anytime I'm doing any nail art, I always go in with the matte top coat first. And of course, when we're doing the lips, always start in the center first. You see how like I'm drawing the cupid bow first? So always start with the center first. This lips is actually not as hard, okay? You see, I'm like I drew kind of like a heart, but not like a heart. So the cupid's bow, and then the bottom of the lip, and then I'm gonna give that one center a little bit, and then a line out. You see, up, and then this line kind of go out a little bit. You see, it kind of look like a lips already. Look like a very full lip. Okay, so now I'm just gonna draw the bottom. So now you see how I kind of outline. When we're drawing anything, we need an outline. Don't go in and just draw, like, bring your red polish in and just go directly just trying to draw on the red lips. I think it's harder that way. So anytime I'm drawing anything, I always go in with like you can do like a dark brown, or in this case I use black to do the outline first. Once the outline looks good, then we're gonna color in with the color. Then that's a lot easier. So I'm gonna do the outline first. I did the white thinking like maybe I'll do the teeth first, but actually I struggle with doing this way, so don't disregard the white. Okay, pretend like the white is not there. I try to see if like, oh, I draw on the teeth first and then do the rest after, but no, don't do the teeth first. Okay, pretend like the white is not there, and then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna draw my cherry like that. So easy, just like a circle. I think the cherries are very, I mean, it's quite easy, right? It's just like really circles and kind of like a dip in the center. Okay, and then the stem. This is what happened when I didn't cure. The reason why the white gel looks wrinkled is because I did not cure it fast enough. I was getting impatient and I flash cured for like 5 seconds or less, and the gel was kind of thick and it wrinkled. But don't worry about that. Pretend like that white is not there. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna color in the inside of the lips black, right? And then you see how we just cover up the white. So again, pretend like the white is not there. Okay, so now once we have the whole mouth black, then we're gonna go in and draw on our teeth individually. So this is actually the easier way of doing it. Earlier when I did that white across, I'm thinking like, oh, I did a white across and then I'm gonna go in with black line to divide up. you know, divide up the black to create teeth, but actually it didn't look good. It's just a mess. So actually this way is the easier way for me. So go in with our paint the whole thing black, and then go in and draw your teeth. And of course I am using I didn't, you know what, I didn't use my detail brush today. I used the gel liner brush that, you know, the gel liner art, and then I just used the brush that from the jar. So this is the Notpolish gel liner art. I love the consistency of this paint. This is not like it's not runny and it's not too thick. I know some people like to paint with thicker gel, and some people like to paint with runnier gel, and sometimes runny it's not pigmented enough for me, and sometimes thick it's a little bit too thick for me. So but I love this gel liner art. Is the perfect consistency. You see now, you see how once you got the outline down, you go in and color it, and it's a lot easier, right? And then I'm just gonna color in the little drip right here. So I did use black paint to do the outline of the lips, but if you want to, you can use like a dark brown, so it'd be easier, because we're gonna go in and kind of re-outline the art again. So you can use a dark brown, actually dark brown, or just like a light black. It will work perfect. And you can see how, like, when I do have the matte top coat now on the bottom of the nail, you can see how smooth the nail is. So when you do your line works, it's actually really, really straight. And if you don't have the matte top coat on the bottom, again, I say this in all my videos, you're gonna have those tiny lines, the buff, like when you buff your nails, those tiny, tiny hairline, you know, hairline of like the little lines. I don't know what I'm saying. Those tiny little hairline where the paint will actually deposit into those lines, causing your line to not be super straight. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you see I do a lot of like the there's a gradient of French, or like V French of like different colors. And the reason why my line's really straight is, well, of course you gotta practice and practice and a good canvas to start out with, okay? And you can see, like, you see how my pinky, that's my little pinky, always resting on the fake hand, or the fake nail, or my hand always rested on something, because if you don't rest it on anything, it's not going to be stable, and when it's not stabilized, it's not going to be straight. And what I'm doing right now, it's because the inside of the mouth is black, so I'm going to use like a light gray color to paint the stems, because if I go in with black, you won't see it. So kind of switch it up and use like a light gray, so you can kind of see the stem. And then the stem do go into the cherries. Yeah, kind of go into like the center of the cherry. And then now we're gonna go in with the little leaves. Leaves are optional, but I think it's a cute little touch. And then I'm gonna go in with like a white gel. Now I'm using my gel line art, so I'm gonna use it like a white gel. And then, you know, it giving like that little shine, like that little gloss illusion. I mean, that's a little much, but that's a little too much, but it's okay. It still looks cute. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit onto the cherries as well. And then I want to go in with the green for the and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of a gray to give it a little bit more of a shadow, you know. And of course, you can draw these lips as big as you want. Like, that's why it's important we do outline first, because when I did the outline, I'm like, you know, it's good enough. But if I was to go back, I think I'll make the lips a little bigger, because I think I'll make the whole mouth a little bit bigger. I mean, it just seemed a little small after. But it's okay. You guys got the basic idea of how to draw the lips. But if I could, I will make it a little bigger. So if I can't make the lips bigger, I'm going to make these cherries actually bigger. You see how the cherry is kind of like drawn like an apple. It has that little dip in the center. Sorry. And then I'm going to bring the stem all the way down to the cherry. You see that? The stems go all the way around. I mean, all the way down to the cherry, and then when I'm all the way down, and then right there. And then of course I want to color this in as well. The cherry is actually fairly easy to do, because of course, because I mean it's easy because I'm not doing like a super realistic looking cherry like the realistic art. I don't think I want to get there someday, but not right now. That's a lot of practice. So I'm just, you know, my cherries, you can tell it's a cherry. It's not as realistic as some artists, but it'll do, and it's a lot faster. So what I'm doing right now is just using the red gel line art, and then I'm painting it. And of course, we're gonna cure it under the light first before. Once you cure it, and then you can go in and outline the cherry. You see? Now we're gonna go in and we're gonna outline the cherries. Yeah, so anytime you guys do a nail art, make sure we outline the product first. It doesn't matter what you draw in. Make sure you have the basic outline of the drawing first, and then color it in. It'll be a lot faster, a lot easier than just kind of going in blindly and just draw. I did that before and it didn't go anywhere. You see how when you bring the stem all the way down to the center, it gives it more of like a realistic look, I guess. And then we're gonna go in with the leaves again. You see how the cherry, you see, if the lips, the mouth were a little bit bigger, I'd be happier. But it is a little bit smaller, but it's okay. It's okay. It's smaller than I'm so fixated on the smaller mouth. It's actually a little bit smaller than my nail picture. All right, I forgot to do the drip on this one, so we're gonna go in and redo the drip. Right, drip. So drip had to be thin on the top, and then it kind of goes wide on the bottom, because you know, anytime a water drop, like a droplet of anything, is always skinny and then fat bottom. Skinny top, fat bottom. That is how we do the drip look. And are you guys doing anything fun for New Year's? So you know, this is the question. This is the question to I want to ask you guys this question. This is how you enter to the giveaway, right? What is your 2022 New Year's resolution? What would you like to change or improve on, or anything? What is your 2022 New Year's resolution? Leave a comment down below and let me know what is my New Year's resolution is. I think I don't know. I just, you know, we do work a lot on social media, and you know what? I feel like for 2021, for 2022, I'm gonna learn how to draw realistic cherries. Just kidding. I mean, that's just part of it. But leave me a comment down below. I really want to know what you guys are working on this coming year. All right, and then of course we're gonna go in with the white again to give it a little, you know, gloss. Little gloss, you know, cute. And I'm just gonna give it a nice little bit of green right there. And for the drip nails, I do the deep French first. So I always start one corner all the way down, and then I swoop the reverse of the French back up to the other corner. That's the easiest way for me to do it. And anytime you're doing the drip, make sure you find the center of the drip first. Make the first line, and then 2 lines out, and then draw on your. This is how I draw my drip nails, right? So I feel like this is the easier way for me to do it, but it's also like the lazy way, because I don't have a dotting tool. I didn't make the effort to go buy a dotting tool or find a dotting tool. So this is how I draw it, and I find it's pretty easy for me. But maybe it might not be easy for some people because, you know, it's the lazier way of me doing it. But I'm gonna show you guys another way, the easier way to do it. It's I'm gonna do it on the pinky so you guys can see it. Again, make sure we gonna go after we've done the drip. Make sure you go in and kind of curve around the drip, okay? Because you can't leave it just like that. It doesn't looks realistic. So make sure we go in and we curve it a little bit. Make sure you keep that little curve throughout the drip. Okay, so now let's try a different way. So first thing first, draw on your deep French one line all the way down, boom, swoop, and then I connect it again, connect it right there, and then I bring it back up. So I draw backwards up this way. You know, I've done video where I try to do deep French, like I see like other people do it and it looks so easy, like different technique. I tried it, fail. Okay, so I'm gonna do my lines first, and then pretend like this is a dotting tool, right? I'm gonna make my first dot. So pretend like this is a dotting tool, okay? I'm gonna make dot, dot. You see, it'd be a lot easier if I actually have to use the actual dotting tool. I just go in and boom, boom, stamp, dot, dot, and then we'll be done. But I don't have the dotting tool, so I have to actually draw a circle. And then, I'm sorry, let me, yeah, dang, I didn't even know my hand cover up the whole draw. My hand cover up the whole, wow, wow. Well guys, that's for the next video because my hand literally cover up the whole I didn't even notice that. I promise you, I did not know. I did not see that. I thought it was in frame. I thought, you know, we're good. I was gonna show you guys the easier way of doing it. But I bet you there was a ton of people that actually have the video of how to do the drip nail super easy already. So you guys probably didn't need to see my technique anyway. So it's all right. So now this is done. We're gonna go in with the matte top coat to finish it off, right? And then of course, you know me, I love matte finish. Always love matte finish. My nails just does not look right if it's shiny. So I love my matte finish, and I'm gonna go in and finish. And as you can see, don't my hand when I bought it, because you know it was this me and the hand was kind of like the same shade, but now her color is wearing off, so she's kind of blotchy. She's not. It's kind of like self tanner. Okay, make sure we clean the edges first before we dry it under the nail. So under the light. So this is already dry, right? And I'm gonna use my diamond glue. And of course, make sure you pick enough glue, okay? The gel glue. Make sure we pick enough big glob for bigger rhinestones, smaller drop for smaller rhinestones. But make sure there is enough, because how can we tell it's enough? Is when we push down, I want to see a little bit of the gel kind of smooth, kind of run on around the edge of the rhinestone. You see, you can kind of see when I push it down, you can see that it runs all around the edge of the nails. You don't want to press down and it's just not enough. You want it to be enough so it kind of runs out a little bit, so that way it can secure your nails a little bit more. And then when we do this, make sure we cure it under the light for at least 60 seconds, just to be sure you really cure those rhinestones, okay? And then now this is the finished product. Look how cute this is for Valentine's. All right guys, I'll see you guys on my next video, and have a happy New Year's.